one time. You make me happy.
Love you, buddy.
Hey, you get off my cloud. All that negativity ain't gonna be bringing me down. Just keeping positive's a motto to the end. Hand out the window on the highway, riding the wind. Yep. Got scrappy in that old Kentucky playpen. When looking back now, I'm left wondering where them days went. Away went for sure, yeah, they spin. When they hates when I'm waving with that Honolulu hang 10. I'm just doing what I want. Mountains there to climb on. Sometimes you make it, sometimes you dive on. The prize must be what you keep your eyes on. A focused mind like I studied under masters up in Taiwan. Let that truth hit you. Tunes get jujitsu. Don't bitch, dude. You lace them up if that shoe fits you. We with you. Man, sometimes you gotta fix you. But no excuses, no din-dos. Man, just lay back and turn it up. Ray, word 'em up. Working on his farmer's tan underneath the burning sun. We gonna ride this cover wagon till its last wheel. Gotta love it when the music sounds just like the grass feels. Hey, you get off my cloud. All that negativity ain't gonna be bringing me down. Just keeping positive's a motto to the end. Hand out the window on the highway, riding the wind. Hey, you get off my cloud. All that negativity ain't gonna be bringing me down. Just keeping positive's a motto to the end. Hand out the window on the highway, riding the wind. Hey yo, Ray. Hey yo, Ray. Hey yo, Ray. Hey yo, Ray. Hey yo, Ray.
Hey yo, Ray. We get
Hey yo,
froggy
Ray.
today, people.
Ray.
Froggy. How about that? I made this mug for Mr. Joe Frago. Shout out to Joe Frago out there. Okay, he's a solid fella. Made it for him. But then I said, you know what? I think I want me one of them frog mugs. Look how vibrant those colors are. Fantastic, right? That's awesome. That's on my little store. I'm going to do a whole bunch more mugs. Now, don't be getting it twisted thinking I'm making all kinds of money off these mugs now. Buy some of them just because you love them, man. Get them out there. Get them in your house. You know, it's so much fun to look at this. Now, I started making these mugs because, funny enough, I was like, you know, I need to have a mug on my video. And then I was making all of those Bad Luck Boys mugs, and I was like, I want to make some fun mugs just to have a good time with and show off and, you know, have something fun to look at, you know, because I was putting stickers on some mugs I got from my dentist. How about that? You know, that's pretty funny. He was just giving me some mugs, but I put a couple of them anime stickers, Studio Ghibli, Porco Rosso, all that good stuff on there. And I was like, why don't I make me some mugs? What the hell you doing? What's going on, Ray? Anyway, how y'all doing out there? Welcome to day 1313. Boom, 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 boom. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm a little bit bummed today, and I'll tell you why. The whole Aurora Borealis is supposed to be going on right now, and they chemtrailed the hell out of my skies up there. Normally, it's all bright and shiny and, you know, blue skies for days, and these past 2 days, they've just been caking it, you know, putting it on thick like cake and icing, you know, crazy. I don't know. It's all overcast out. The light's all funny. I hate that when they do that. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, how you doing? Day 13. Check in with yourself. How you feeling today? You know, I'm a little bummed about the you know, Northern Lights kind of thing I'm missing out on. And I was hoping, you know, that I was going to be able to see it, you know, but I can't see it, you know, so I'm kind of bummed about that. So I got to get stoked. I got to get my Frago mug out. So I got my Frago mug out to get excited about today. So I'm excited. I've already been out there. I went to the golf course today to paint. The golf course is just about the only place in the area that has grass for you to get out there and get after it with. And so I love getting out there and getting after the grass. Otherwise, we're out in the desert. You know what I'm saying, people? Out in the desert. But it's all right. So I got out there and actually touched some grass today. And so I'm going to play that video here in a minute. We're going to check it out and have a good time, you know. Later on today, we're going to have that live with James and the other guys. The Bruvs Unite. Okay, now I know sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4. I don't know what James be doing. He be changing the times on me. But, you know, he's over there in England, so we got to go with what he's got going on. But we're going to go about 4 o'clock today. So come on and jump in and have a good time with that live today. Come on, and we're going to have some fun, okay? We're going to have a good time. And then on Friday, we're going to have an interview with Neil Whitehead, all right, that artist. And I got the Zoom all set up and all that kind of stuff, and I got to send the link. I forgot to do that. I didn't know you could schedule it. All this stuff is new to me, so I'm scheduling all up. I got to send it over to him. I'm really excited about that interview. And then I got a couple other interviews that I'm lining up that as soon as they materialize, I will tell you, because I'm stoked about those too. Now, we did have a really good conversation yesterday with Agent O the Outlaw, and we talked about heat punk, you know. I love talking to people who know what they're talking about. I love talking to other fellas that have something interesting to say where I can learn something, you know. I mean, you guys might not know this, but I don't know everything. I do not know everything. You know what I mean? I don't know everything. So I try to, you know, learn something from these other people. And anyway, it's really fun. It's exciting. We had a really good conversation about Heat Punk, a fantastic comic. It had a great art in it. And I love talking about contemporary art and also historical art. You know, I got a lot of art books that I want to bring out and talk to you about. A lot of artists that are now dead in the ground, but their art lives on. Their art lives on, and it's fantastic art, and it's all something that we can learn something from. I mean, don't you like that? Don't you want to understand how this all works and get more refined yourself? You know what I mean? I was talking to somebody the other day about this. And I don't know if you ever drunk wine or anything like that. Say you drank wine or coffee or whatever. And you start out with the sweetest tutti frutti stuff that there is. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, it's so good. It's so sweet. It tastes like grape juice with a little zing, you know. And you're all excited about it. And then as your palate develops, you're like, oh, this stuff tastes like crap. You spit it out, you know. And then you finally, you know, mature and you get yourself a $50 bottle and you're like, oh, wow, this Justin wine is just in time. You make yourself those little jokes and you laugh about it. And then before you know it, you're getting like, you know, $100 bottles of wine. You're like, oh, this is fantastic. Look at me. I'm Mr. So-and-so. And then, you know, you get refined. You raise the bar, you appreciate the finer things, and you get an understanding, and you're cultured, as they say. You're a learned individual, right? You got yourself a mature palate. Same thing happens with, you know, chocolate and coffee, you know, and the same thing happens with when you get material possessions. You know, at first you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to get a Mercedes. You get your first Mercedes, you're all excited about it. And they're like, oh, I gotta get me a AMG Mercedes, the souped up version. You get that, drive around, you're all excited. It wears off. Then you get your G-Wagon. You're like, oh, I got a G-Wagon. Look at me now. And then you drive that around, and then before you know it, you're like, ah, people who like material things are immature. You know what I mean? You go on that whole arc where then all of a sudden, like, you don't care about it no more. It's just a car, okay? It's just a car. The most important thing is finding people you love, you know, finding things you're excited about and building your life around that. That's what you want to do. And that becomes the most important thing. Some people find out the enlightenment part of that sooner. Other people have to become rap stars and, you know, try every drug in the world, eat at every restaurant in the world to all realize, I wish I was back with my mama and she was making some of that fried chicken that I love. I sure miss them days. You know, they're like that. You know, they're remembering those times when, you know, the meal meant more than eating. It meant spending time with people. It meant love. It meant, you know, family. It meant relationships that were real. None of this backstabbing shit you see going on all the time. Everywhere you turn around, people pulling knives out of their backs or putting them in other people's backs. You know, that's pretty funny. But that's how you refine your palate. So the same thing works with artwork, right? At first, you're like, you know, I'm sure like you, I was introduced to art very early on with cartoons. I was fortunate, though. I'll tell you why I was fortunate. Because the majority of the cartoons I watched were those 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, you know, Looney Tunes that really had, you know, that contemporary fine art element. It wasn't cartoon, it was fine art. Bugs Bunny back then was more like fine art. And they infused and integrated classical music and opera all throughout. So as a young child, it gave me a love for those things, and I could appreciate them, and I was drawn to them, and I wanted to, oh, that's the song I heard Bugs Bunny, you know, dancing to in The Barber of Seville. I want to hear the whole thing now. Oh, what else is on that? What else is that opera like? And I want to listen to the whole thing. And then, oh, this composer did that. Oh, I want to hear that one. So I get all excited about it, right? And then, like, you mature, you become cultured, you become refined, you know. You don't just stay there as a, you know, you get 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s, and you're still like, Mickey Mouse. That's what that's artwork to me. It's Mickey Mouse. And you put it on your walls, and people walk in, they're like, oh, what 3-year-old lives here? You know, oh, this is creepy. Oh, yeah. And you come out, got your little ears. Hello, everybody. You know, you're like, okay. You know, you're supposed to mature. You're supposed to refine your artistic appreciation the same way you do with your coffee and your wine and your cars and everything in life, right? There's more meaning to it. You drop the initial notes of sugar for the multifaceted notes of flavor and power and, you know, all of these different stimuluses, you know, stimuli. Let me say it right, stimuli. I do have a good vocabulary somewhere in there. I just got to look around and find it. And every once in a while, I pull out a good banger word and I'll be like, I got the gravitas, people. That's the jargon I've been using, you know. And you mix it with that funny Southern accent and kind of really invert it, and everybody goes, oh, you know, for a Southern guy, he's pretty smart. He uses some good words. And, you know, you get through with it. You know, it reminds me a lot of, I don't know if you guys watched that Miss Maisel or whatever. That I like that that series. There was that lady who played the comedian on there, and she was really refined, but she played that local yokel, you know. And that was great, and I can really relate to that. But look, I'll tell you why I loved Miss Maisel, right? The show, okay? So I watched the whole show, right? I loved Miss Maisel, not really because of the show, okay? I loved Miss Maisel for the color palette of the woman's fashion and the male fashion. That was fantastic. That's the best fashion I've seen in any show ever, period, bar none. Now, I you know, obviously, like, I love texture, I love color, I love women, I love their bodies, and, you know, I like to dress up and look good as a guy, right? And so women's fashion is more of an artistic thing for me that I'm looking at. I'm like, oh, wow, that's put together really nice. That's a banger. It's kind of like when you look at like any kind of car that maybe has like, you know, the special, you know, aftermarket custom packages on it, and you're like, wow, that looks incredible. They really put that together well. Same thing with women's fashion, especially if women are attractive, and then they put their little hat on and they have that high-waisted dress and they have like the Chanel and all that, and you're just like, oh, that's what fashion is supposed to be. You know what I mean? None of this bullshit. This kind of like looks like you stepped in off of the, you know, Red Lobster meets, you know, some kind of parfait or something. You're like, what the hell is this? You know, it's actually something that's timeless, classical, and it lends itself to the female body, and it brings in these colors that reflect their personality, right? It actually enhances the person that you're looking at. And I really feel like that Miss Maisel did that. And there was, of course, parts of the show that I was like, man, this is stupid. You know, fuck this. I mean, I did like the parts where she flashed her tits. That was fucking awesome, right? I was a big fan of that. But, you know, the women's fashion, I even looked up and tried to find, see if they had like a women's fashion book. The reason being about the show, the reason being is quite often when they're producing these fashion books or whatever for the show or whatever, they'll do it with watercolor and put it on paper, and it's beautiful. There's some beautiful art. You know, contemporary fashion art or even classical fashion art is some of the most beautiful stuff when it's done with watercolor or gouache or whatever. And you're just like, they do it on boards. You're like, wow, I want to take that and frame it and put it on my wall. And it's just a really good vibe, really good feeling. So, and it's another avenue to look into with artwork, right? You wouldn't think about artwork being there, but everything usually starts with some form of artwork. And you see the initial ideas of the artist and the process, and you're peering into their mind and you're seeing the process, and it's a lot of fun because it gives you, you're like, hey, it's possible, right? I could do that. I could figure out the process, and, you know, maybe you're not into women's fashion, and I don't really see myself going into women's fashion. I like to more take it off than put it on, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, you think about that, oh, you figure out the process, and you can go ahead and put something nice together for yourself, and you can be really excited about that, okay? So, but anyway, enough of that. Let's get out there. Let's touch some grass. Let me go ahead and get this you know, get this little video going, and we'll get it going.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want you to join us in welcoming the world's greatest DJ. His name is Till Mix. Oh yeah, we partying with ghosts. They're the sexiest. Oh yeah, partying with ghosts. Till Mix. Oh yeah, we partying with ghosts.
What about that Joe Frago? He says A-OK, right? I like it. I like it. I was out there doing a banger out there. You know, you could see how overcast the sky was, couldn't you? It was super overcast. I don't know, it looked like pea soup, man. It looked wild, looked crazy. I'm like looking up, where's the sunshine? Where's the blue skies? Where's the northern lights? Not today. It's pea soup for you, plebs. You know, that's kind of what I felt like. But I was really happy to get out there and get on the golf course because I love getting out there. And I love getting a little painting done. How about that? How about that little painting right there? Just bam, you know, got her done. You know, it took me maybe about 25, 30 minutes. Well, of course, plus the 30 years of learning how to paint and all that good stuff too, right? I had to put I had to account for that. It's much like that little thing I was telling you guys about the guy who painted the seagulls and all that. But hold on, we got to peel off the paint. Oh, let's go. It gets all sexy time. We peeling off the paint, sexy time. Maybe I should play some of that bow chicka bow wow. Brown chicken, brown cow. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Gotta get that deep. Oh, bow, bow. Chicka, chicka. Oh yeah. Bow, bow. Oh yeah. Bam. Anyway, there we go. That golf course painted up all nice, right? And the nice flavor of watercolor right there. It looks real good. So I'm excited about that. Got another one in the bag, and I hope you're excited too. I hope you got out to there today, and I hope you just went ahead and had yourself maybe an hour, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, and had yourself a little commune with nature. You had a little conversation with nature out there, and you learned that, hey, I kind of like this. It kind of feels good to be out here. I tell you, I felt good. I just started breathing, and I was relaxing, and I was out there, and I was like, oh, this feels nice. This feels nice. I can relax. I can start to put my focus, get in the zone, and have it all come in. And the world stands still for a minute while all of the pressures and all of those worries that are out there just kind of fade away into the background, and you go ahead and you get your painting going, and you make it happen. Okay, now I hope that made it happen for you today. I hope you get out there and kick ass, and you're inspired to make yourself a fantastic painting. Joe Frago says hi. Hi, baby.